No. You know what's not justified? Using armed violence to try to kill people in the Capitol. That's not justified.
Answer this question.
Huh?
Answer this question.
What is
was
the
it
question?
appropriate? The question is, was it appropriate to bury the Hunter Biden?
You're talking about the press doing that?
He's saying that's what they did, and that is what...
All right, buckle up, because the latest episode of Real Time with Bill Maher lit up like a powder keg. Things got heated fast as Maher went head-to-head with guests who seemed neck-deep in woke ideology. And let's be honest, when even Bill Maher, a guy famous for his liberal leanings, starts tearing apart woke talking points, you know the narrative is cracking.
No. You know what's not justified? Using armed violence to try to kill people in the Capitol. That's not justified.
Answer this question.
Huh?
Answer this question.
What is
was
the
it
question?
appropriate? The question is, was it appropriate to bury the Hunter Biden?
You're talking about the press doing that?
He's saying that's what they did, and that is what they did. They buried the Hunter Biden story before the election because they were like, we can't risk having the election thrown to Trump. We'll tell them after the election.
And we know for a fact that that's what they did?
Of course. You don't follow this.
You know for a fact that that's what they did? I don't know what they did.
I know, because you only watch MSNBC.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
Well, then you would know about this.
I do know about that.
The guests kept falling back on their usual routine, bringing up Trump at every turn. Predictable. Absolutely. But Maher wasn't having it. He cut through the noise, challenged every cliché, and delivered a reality check the audience didn't see coming. If you're into content that pushes back against the echo chamber and actually keeps it real, hit that subscribe button. Go on, I'll wait. Done? Welcome aboard. Now that you're caught up on the media bias debate, let's dig into what really went down. The night kicked off with Maher tackling the elephant in the room, media bias.
About that.
You're acting like you don't.
I do know about that, and I do watch Fox, but the point is, we're going to prove now that the press tried to.
They're admitting it.
The press is admitting it.
Yes, that's not even an issue anymore. They're saying, yes, we basically did this because we didn't want this to throw the election. Yes?
I don't know that they've all said this, and I believe strongly
the New York
in the
Times
First
definitely
Amendment.
did.
My dad was a reporter. I believe in it, and I think you have to make sure that you're treating people fairly. But I think Rob's point here is that we are dealing with a man who used to be the president right now, who literally tried to lead an armed insurrection.
Now, Bill Maher has never been one to hold back when it comes to calling out the media. So he opened the floor with a direct shot. Why does the press go soft on some stories while going full attack mode on others? And sure enough, up came the Hunter Biden saga. Maher didn't dance around it. He laid it out plain. This wasn't some vague allegation. Maher had the receipts. He pointed out how the media conveniently shelved the Hunter Biden story right before the election, arguably to keep the narrative locked on Trump. Right move. Wrong move. That's for you to decide. But Maher wasn't letting it slide. He pressed his guests point blank. Were they even aware of this? Cue the awkward silence. His guests stumbled, deflected, and did their best to steer the conversation back to Trump. But Maher didn't budge. He held the line and doubled down, calling out how the media only leans hard when it fits their agenda. Then came January 6th. His guests wasted no time labeling it an insurrection, a dark stain on American history. The debate escalated fast, but Maher kept steering it back to the core issue: selective outrage and the media's shifting moral compass.
This is not a political party anymore. I don't know what this is. This is some, the cult, whatever. But it's this. I believe there's a Christian nationalist movement that's very frightening.
There is,
and I've actually am finishing up a documentary on it called Christian Nationalism: The Danger. It's called God and Country: The Danger of Christian Nationalism, and it's basically they take somebody like Donald Trump who doesn't espouse anything that they believe in, and they elevate him to godlike status, and that whatever he does is okay. So,
first of all, Trump was losing steam before the raid at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
It's
the election. He lost by 7 million votes.
Yeah, but he was not as unpopular right after the election as he was right before the Mar-a-Lago raid. He was steadily going down. DeSantis was stealing his thunder. And it looked like DeSantis was going to get the nomination or at least had a fighting chance. Then the raid came, and look, I don't agree with you about Archie Bunker. There are Republicans peeling away. I don't think he would have been one of them. I don't think he was not a bright guy. And it was all based on loyalty and personality, and also that he was an angry guy. Who was not happy with his life. And that's what fuels Trump voters.
You might be right.
But Maher didn't push back on the severity of January 6th itself. He pushed back on the narrative that's been built around it. He questioned why this single event has become a permanent bludgeon used to hammer Trump, while conveniently ignoring the violent pasts and missteps of others. The conversation took a sharp turn as Maher's frustration started to crack through. Even the audience could feel it. Watching him dismantle every overplayed "woe is us" talking point was eye-opening. His guests came armed with the usual buzzwords: armed insurrection, media's moral duty, threat to democracy. But Maher cut through it and essentially said, let's not pretend Trump is out here committing crimes every day. Can we focus on actual problems? To be clear, he wasn't downplaying January 6th. What he was doing was asking a bigger question. Has America gotten so obsessed with one moment in time that it's lost sight of the bigger picture? The economy, social justice, issues people actually live with every day. Still, Maher's guests fought back like seasoned spin doctors, clinging to their talking points as if their reputations depended on it. And for a second, you almost admire the persistence, until you realize you've heard the same script from them 100 times before. The conversation then shifted to Trump's media legacy, and that's where it hit home. This wasn't just about Trump being dragged in headlines. It was about what the media is shaping America into. Maher asked it straight: has the press created an untouchable narrative around Trump? And the silence that followed, that said it all.
You mentioned that you believe Archie Bunker would have supported Trump, but would have condemned the insurrectionists. How do you think he'd vote in the next presidential election?
I think he's one of those people that would have had enough of Trump.
Really?
Yeah. And you see a lot of Republicans peeling off now. And I think that's a good thing, because his
guests were clearly unsettled. They tried to sidestep the question, but no matter how they danced around it, the conversation kept circling back to Trump. The desperation was hard to miss. The audience's reaction said it all. Audible gasps and murmurs filled the room as Maher pressed further, visibly frustrated that so many still shaped their entire political worldview around figures vilified by the media. It raised an interesting dilemma. How do we separate the art from the artist? The truth from the noise? Amid all the back and forth, there were signs of a deeper cultural tension. One particularly telling moment came when Rob Reiner, yes, the actor known for his strong political opinions, tried to jump in with, well, more of the usual talking points. But Maher, calm and collected, challenged him to look at things differently. What if Trump isn't the disease, but a symptom? A sign of a culture that's grown tired of the same old politicians and predictable media narratives. Honestly, it was refreshing. Watching Maher push his guests out of their echo chambers was a rare moment of clarity. It's easy to get stuck in a loop where everyone just reinforces each other's views. But Maher, whether you like him or not, reminded us that sometimes beliefs need to be challenged. This episode of Real Time pulled back the curtain on the tensions driving today's political debates, the media's obsession with Trump, the grip of woke culture, and the sweeping narrative shaping how we see the world. So here's the real question. Are we seeing a true reflection of reality, or just a polished version crafted by those in power? Let's talk about it. Do you think media bias distorts our view of the world, or did Maher just give us a masterclass in cutting through the noise, respectfully and honestly, even when the truth stings? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't hold back. I want to hear what you really think.